Claire is 5 years old. She watches a lot of TV. Her parents want her to read more. She likes the TV too much. Her mom asks her to read a book. She says no. Her mom asks her to read a picture book. She says no. Claire's dad asks her to read books. She says no. Her dad asks her to read a book about Bobby. She says no. Her parents force her to read. Claire cries. Claire's teacher asks her to read. She says no. Claire's older sister has an idea. She gives her a book based on a movie. Claire reads it. Sally and her mom went shopping. They are looking for a chair. The mom sees a nice brown stool. It is of good quality. It will last forever. Sally thinks it is ugly though. She sees a pink plastic chair. She points at it. Mom, let's get that one. Her mom says no. Sally throws a fit. She knows she can get what she wants if she cries. She starts crying loudly. Other shoppers stare at Sally. Her mom gets embarrassed. She ends up buying the pink chair. At home, Sally sits on it. It quickly breaks. Sally is on the floor. She cries from the pain. Bob was celebrating her birthday today. She was turning 7 years old. All her friends were coming. Her relatives were also coming. She was going to see her cousins, uncles, and aunts. Even her neighbor was coming. Her parents got her cake with a horse on it. Horses were her favorite animal. Her dad spent all day decorating their house. There were balloons, banners, and streamers. She was so happy when she saw the decorations and everyone. This was her best birthday ever. She had a jumper for her and her friends to play with. She also had party gifts. Bob got a lot of presents. She thanked everyone for coming. She hugged her parents. Donna decided to buy her 2 daughters water bottles. They were going to school soon. She bought a pink one and a blue one. She drove back home. Girls, I have something for you. Her mom yelled. Sarah and Barbara ran to her. What is it? Sarah asked. She showed them the water bottles. They both grabbed the pink one. They started pulling it. I grabbed it first. Barbara said, no, I did. Sarah argued. The mom did not know what to do. She thought one of them would like the blue one. She could just flip a coin. One of them would still be mad though. Donna decided not to give the water bottle to any of them. Joy was going to the petting zoo. She was excited. It was going to be her first time seeing animals. When her dad parked the car, she opened the car door right away. Joy, wait for us. Her dad said. Once her mom and dad got out, Joy made them run to the zoo with her. They arrived. Joy saw the animals. Her smile disappeared. The animals were not that impressive. There were only rabbits, horses, and dogs. They were very boring. She was hoping to see more wild animals. Let's go home, Joy said. No way, we came all the way here to pet animals. Her dad said. Parents have different ways of punishing their kids. Some parents ground their kids. Grounding means that kids are not allowed to do fun things. This includes watching TV, going out with friends, and playing video games. Some parents give their kids long speeches. They would yell at them or tell them what they did wrong. Some parents give their kids the silent treatment. The silent treatment is when the parents don't talk to the kids. Some parents make their kids do more chores. Some parents don't even punish their kids. They are very lenient. Pat found a bunny. She found it on the street. There was blood on the bunny. It looked like it was in pain. Pat did not want to leave it alone. She carried it home. She put it in a shoebox. She asked her mom if she could keep it. Her mom said no. The bunny might have rabies. Pat took the bunny to the veterinarian. The bunny probably could not live. It was too injured. Pat asked her mom again if she could keep it. She said that the bunny would die in a week. Her mom said okay. Pat took really good care of the bunny. Yvonne loved drawing. She practiced drawing a lot. She knew how to draw nature. She could draw people. She did not know how to draw animals. She decided it was time to learn. She looked up instructions online. She also borrowed books. She studied the techniques. She looked at many images. She decided to practice. She wanted to start with something easy. She first attempted a dog. After several tries, she finally got it. She traced the outline. She then colored it. She was proud of herself. She decided to take a break. Tomorrow she would learn how to draw a bear. Andrea was playing tag with her friends. Tag is a game where one person is it and chases the other players. Andrea is it. She is playing with 5 other people. She runs after Joe. Joe is ahead of her. But Joe is a slow runner. Andrea taps him on the shoulder. Joe falls down. He starts crying. A teacher runs towards him. Did you push him down, Andrea? The teacher asked. No. He tripped. I just tapped his shoulder, Andrea said. The teacher did not believe her. She asks Joe if Andrea pushed her. He said no. The teacher said sorry to Andrea. Mrs. Yu was working on arts and crafts with her kids at school. The children wanted to make something. They were very excited. Mrs. Yu had a lot of paper and supplies. The children wondered what they were going to make. Mrs. Yu announced they were going to make animal masks. She passed out the paper. Everyone began coloring and cutting. The fun began. Some made bunny masks. Some made lion masks. All of them had fun. When they were done, they all put their masks on. After having a lot of fun, the kids cleaned up their mess. It was a very fun day for everyone. Charlie was going to visit a candy factory. He was going with his parents. On this trip, he would take a tour of the factory. He would be with other children and their families. At the end of the trip they could fill up one bag of the candy they wanted. He was very excited. He was in a group with 3 other families. They took a tour of the factory. They saw how the chocolate and candy were made. It was fascinating to see what happened before it went into their mouths. At the end of the trip they each got a plastic bag. Charlie filled his up with sour candy, chocolate, and soda candy. He was very happy. The kids are at a water park for a field trip. It is time to go on the water slide. Hector is scared to go on the slide. He looks up and sees how high the slide is. Afraid of heights, he does not want to go on. He sees all the other kids having fun on the slide. Hector gets very upset. The teacher goes up to talk to him. She explains to him that it is safe and nothing will happen. Hector decides to take the risk. He climbs up the slide. He takes a pause before he goes down. As he goes down, he screams. At the bottom he realizes it is not so bad. He is now ready to line up and go again. Luke was moving to a new school. His dad got a new job, so he had to move. He felt sad. He had to leave all his friends behind. He was scared he would have a hard time making new friends. He was also scared because he would not be used to the new place and the new school. His parents told him everything would be fine. When he got there, everything felt weird. It felt out of place. His house looked so different from his old house. The next day he went to school. He made a lot of new friends. He was happy with his new school. Frank's cousins were coming to town. He was excited. This was the first time he would see them in person. His cousins lived in another country. He never saw them. The only time he saw them was when he webcammed with them. He also talked on the phone with them. Frank was excited to have someone at his age to talk to. Frank got all his video games ready. He could not wait to play with them. His cousins came. They hugged and laughed. Frank told them stories about his country. They told him stories about their country. They played games. They then ate dinner. After dinner, they continued to play games. Tracy had to take a vocabulary quiz. She needed her pen. She looked inside her bag, but the pen wasn't in there. It was always there. She just used it yesterday. She decided to let it go. She also needed a piece of paper. She looked inside her bag. There was no paper. Did she leave everything at home? Was she becoming forgetful? Was someone stealing from her? She borrowed paper from a friend. She also needed an eraser. She looked inside her bag. No eraser. She screamed, "Oh my God." Her classmates stared at her. She apologized. Her classmate then pointed at the bottom of her bag. There was a huge hole. It was raining. William loves jumping in puddles. He jumped in 5 puddles. He was wet and dirty. His mom told him to change his clothes. They were going to a fancy party. He wore a nice dress shirt and slacks. William and his mom arrived at the party. The host opened the door. They went inside the house. The host screamed. William was confused. The host pointed at his shoes. He had forgot to change them. There were dark footprints on the floor. He left the party. He was forced to change his shoes. It was snack time. Ted has a bag of chips for his snack. Todd has an apple for his snack. Julia has a granola bar for her snack. Lauren has grapes for her snack. Todd doesn't really like his snack. He would rather have chips or a granola bar or grapes. He asks Ted, Julia, and Lauren if they are willing to trade. They say no. The teacher hears this. She says it's not very nice to say no. She tells them to share. Ted grabs a handful of chips. Julia tears off a piece of her granola bar. Lauren breaks off a branch of grapes. Todd takes the food. He thanks his friends. Manny was a lazy kid. All he wanted to do was playing video games. He paid the smartest kid in class to do his homework. He convinced his little sister to do his chores. He made his parents do his laundry. His mom was getting tired of Manny's bad habits. She wanted Manny to change. She told Manny's teacher about Manny's behavior. The teacher was upset. Mr. Howard forced Manny to stay after school until he finished his homework. Manny's mom told her daughter that she would be punished if she did her brother's chores. Manny's mom and dad stopped doing his laundry. Lauren has a test. It is very important. She has to study a lot. She tried to study in her room. Her baby brother kept crying. It was too loud. She could not concentrate. She went to a coffee shop. People were always talking. The blender was too noisy. She could not concentrate. She went to the library. Libraries are usually quiet. This one was different. The kids were laughing. Lauren did not want to be mean to them. She left the library. She went to the park. birds started to poop on her. Her hair was a mess. She went back home. She took a shower. She had an idea. She brought her book to the bathroom. She studied in there. School food is bad. It tastes fake. It is unhealthy. Melanie brings lunch from home instead. She brings something different every day. Sometimes she makes a sandwich. Sandwiches are easy to make. They are tasty, too. Sometimes her mom makes her home-cooked meals. Her mom is a good chef. Sometimes she goes to restaurants in the morning. Then, she brings the food to school. Melanie's friends are jealous of her. They look at her food whenever it is lunchtime. It smells so good. Melanie always gives a little bit of her food to them. She suggests that they bring lunch from home. They say no. School food is free for them. Sam was known as the school bully. He was tough. He had a lot of muscles. He was very tall, too. He looked really scary. He was mean. He teased people. He made fun of people's appearances. He spent 10 minutes teasing one of his classmates. The classmate cried. The classmate told the teacher. The teacher talked to the bully. The teacher called the bully's parents. The bully's parents arrived at the school. The bully, his parents, and the teachers all talked. The parents and the bully left the school. The teacher gave an announcement. The bully was kicked out of school. He will never return. Aaron is from California. He lived there since he was born. His dad got a job in New York. Aaron is happy for him, but he doesn't want to move. All his friends are in California. He is going to miss everything. He loves the park. He would go there to relax. He loves the library. He would go there to do homework. He loves all the restaurants. Their foods are all delicious. He is going to miss driving. In New York, no one drives. His mom tells him to pack up. He packs his belongings. He says goodbye to his room. It's time to go. Everyone has to do the mile run test. Most people take it in middle school. The girls have to complete the mile under 12 minutes. The guys have to complete the mile under 10 minutes. Most people passed. Some people failed. They had to take it again. Michelle failed it. She was doing well in the beginning. She was in front of everyone. But she got tired. She started walking. She finished the mile in 17 minutes. She knew what to do the next time. She was going to go a steady pace. Not too fast, not too slow. Austin goes to a private school. Private schools make their students wear uniform. Austin hates the uniform. He has his own unique style. One day he decided to break the rules. He wore a baseball cap to school. His teacher noticed his cap. She told him to take it off. Austin asks why. We can't tell if you're sleeping, Ms. Myers said. Fine. Austin yelled. He took off his cap. He threw his cap at Ms. Myers. Austin, your behavior is unacceptable. He was sent to the principal's office. He was forced to go home. His parents grounded him for a week. Gary used to be a good boy. He listened to his parents. He did his homework. He was nice to everyone. This all changed after he met Jordan. Jordan was the popular guy. He was also a mean guy. He never did his homework. He was mean to his friends. People wondered why he even had friends. It's because they wanted to be popular, too. So they followed him around. Gary became his friend. Jordan pushed him around. He made Gary become mean. Gary started ignoring his friends. His parents were worried about him. They talked to him about his change. William's parents have been divorced for 5 years. Most kids are sad when this happens. William was happy. He hated it when his parents were together. They always fought. It was annoying to hear them arguing. He also loves having 2 homes. His mom lives in England. His dad lives in Canada. William currently lives in Canada. He goes to England whenever he has a long holiday. His mom and dad are all remarried now. William loves his step-parents. He also loves his half-siblings. William loves having 2 families. He was never happy when his parents were together. They made him choose sides all the time. Now, he has the best of both worlds. Pat and Angel are twins. They like different things though. Pat likes salty food. Angel likes sweet food. Pat likes chips, pizza, and burgers. Angel likes cake, ice cream, and strawberries. Their parents wanted to buy them a meal for their birthday. The problem was that they wanted different things. Pat wanted to eat salty fish. Angel wanted to eat a cake. Why can't we get both things? Pat asked. We are having money problems, her mom said. Let's get the fish, Angel said. Her parents were impressed by her maturity. Pat thanked her twin. Eileen was woken up by her alarm. She did not want to wake up, but she had to. She had a test at 8 a.m. Washing her face helped a lot. She went to the bathroom. She did not want to use the cold water, but cold water wakes her up. Warm water does not make her more awake. She closed her eyes. She splashed the cold water on her face. She felt ready for school. She made herself a cup of coffee. She drank the whole thing. She felt awake. Matthew's parents went to the movies. He was home alone. He decided to eat all the junk food. His parents usually yell at him when he eats too much junk food. They tell him it is not healthy to eat too much junk food. He was hungry. He first opened the chips. He had barbecue chips. He opened some chocolate. He had marshmallows. He had some pizza. He was starting to get full. He decided to have some popsicle bars. He ate a strawberry one. Then he felt sick. He knew now why his parents told him not to eat too much. His parents were coming home. He heard the door unlocking. He knew he was going to be in trouble. Diego was going to the museum today. It was the Museum of Natural History. They had fossils there. They had ancient artifacts. He was most excited to see the dinosaur fossils. He went with his dad. His dad took him to see many types of animals. He saw different types of dinosaurs. He also saw mammals and birds. He learned about their habitat. He also learned the history of each animal. He was fascinated. Even his dad learned something. After exploring the museum, his dad took him to the gift shop. Diego looked around. He ended up buying some souvenirs. He got a dinosaur keychain. He would remember this day forever. Thomas had to write a story for class. His English teacher wanted him to write a story about anything. He had no idea what to write. He could not think of a good idea. He wanted to do well on this assignment. This was an important assignment. It would count a lot towards his grade. After a while he decided to go outside. He took a walk in the park. The park gave him some inspiration. He decided to write a story about a family who was having a picnic in the park. His story would have a twist. He would make the family get superpowers from being in the park. He ran home. He was excited to write his story. Nick loved burgers. He wanted to find a perfect burger. He tried them everywhere he went. He decided to try 10 different places one day. He did not eat the whole thing. He had a bite of each burger. He ate all types of burgers. His favorite was the cheeseburger, but he did not taste any amazing burgers. Then he ate the last one. The last one was perfect. The buns were perfectly cooked. The beef was juicy. The lettuce and tomato were fresh. It even had melted cheese and a special sauce. This was the best burger he had ever had. George really wanted to go to the basketball game. He loved basketball and played it at school. He needed money to buy the ticket. His parents told him he had to earn the money. George decided to make a lemonade stand. His parents agreed to help him. He had to buy all the supplies first. He got a table from home. He made signs. He bought lemons, sugar, water, and cups. He also got straws. He began to make the lemonade. He decided to sell each cup for 50 cents. Many people started coming. George raised a lot of money. He had enough to go see the basketball game. It was summer. He needed money to pay for school next year. He decided to get a job. He needed to apply to different places. He first made a resume. He then made a cover letter. He walked around his neighborhood. He asked managers if they were hiring. By the end of the day, he found 10 different places that were hiring. They were mostly retail or restaurant jobs. He wanted to work nearby. He filled out the applications. The next day he handed them in. Tom was hopeful. 2 weeks later he received phone calls. They wanted him to be interviewed for the job. Pamela always gets pimples at the worst time. She once had a pimple during her birthday party. She once had a pimple when she had to make a speech. She once had a pimple on her first date. Pamela expected that she would get a pimple on prom. Prom is a special dance for high school students. Girls wear pretty dresses and heels. Guys wear fancy suits and ties. Pamela wanted everything to go perfectly. She made sure she would not get any pimples. She ate healthily. She drank a lot of water. She used lotion constantly. She used pimple cream, too. On prom day, she looked at the mirror. Her face was clear. It was the first time she had clear skin on a special day. Jason is 12 years old. He wants to buy a video game. It costs $60. He does not have money. He cannot get a job. He is too young to get one. He tried selling his old things. He only made $1. He tried doing homework for people. He got caught. He tried taking online surveys. He ended up getting a computer virus. He tried selling his handmade toys. People thought they were ugly. He tried dancing on the streets. He only managed to get a few pennies. He entered a drawing competition. The prize was $100. He lost. He asked his parents if he could have some money. They said yes. There was a catch. He had to do chores. He said yes. His parents gave him $5 for every hour he worked. Samantha was starting her first day of 6th grade in 2 weeks. She needed a new backpack. Her backpack from last year was ripped. This year she wanted a cool backpack to start off her middle school years. She did not know where to begin. She went to the mall and began searching. Her mom suggested she get something with flowers. Her dad suggested she get something plain. However, when she saw this backpack, she knew it was meant to be hers. The backpack had several pockets to hold all her belongings. It was also made of sturdy and durable material. The backpack was pink with purple dots. She immediately grabbed it and asked her mom if she could get it. Her mom said okay and handed her some money. She was very excited. Talent shows are typically held at schools for younger students. They allow students to be creative. People do many different things. Some students sing, some students dance, some students act, some students do magic tricks, some students play instruments, some students tell jokes. Sometimes, students get more creative. Some students get stage fright. Sometimes, these students throw up. But it's okay, the audience cheers for them still. Kids need support. Sometimes talent shows have winners. But other times, everyone is a winner. Rebecca was going to Texas to visit her relatives. Her mom and dad had to go to work. This was her first time flying alone. She was flying from California. Rebecca was very scared at first. When she got on the plane, she was nervous. The plane began to take off. Rebecca calmed down after the plane steadied. This was not as bad as she thought. Rebecca was okay now. She listened to music. She had a nice conversation. The view from above was also nice. She began to like the plane ride. It was not as scary as she thought it would be. Mrs. Jones announced the project. Her 6th grade class had to make a portfolio of pictures. The pictures had to represent themselves. It could be anything. James was excited for this project. He loved photography. He decided to take pictures of his family and friends. They were an important part of his life. He also took a picture of his piano. He played piano for 5 years. He took a picture of the sports he played. James had a total of 15 pictures. He was proud of himself. He went to the nearby convenience store to print out the pictures. The 5th graders at Kennedy School had a science fair. They had to work in teams of 3. Each group had to come up with a project. They were to make a display. They had 1 month to work on their projects. The best project would get a medal and ribbons. On the day of the science fair, everyone brought their projects. There were simple ones. There were complicated ones. Some people studied plants and animals. Some looked into electricity and magnetism. Some even did projects on bacteria and viruses. All the projects were good. It made picking the winner very difficult. Tiffany was turning 16. She was going to have a party. She was going to invite all her friends and family. It was going to be a big party. There was going to be food, music, and games. Her family was helping her plan it. Her mom picked the caterer. They were going to serve sandwiches. They also had dessert. The dessert was chocolate cake. They had karaoke and also games. She had to pick a place. She picked an indoor place. It had a dance floor. Tiffany was very excited for her birthday. She knew it was going to be fun. Daniel had a project for school. It was on planets. He had to research one planet and write a report. His planet was Mars. He decided to go to the library and borrow books. He borrowed 3 books. He saw his friend there. They went to lunch. He also went to lunch. After the lunch he realized that he left the books at the lunchroom. He went back. They were no longer there. Daniel panicked. He did not want to pay for the books. His parents would get mad at him. He looked everywhere. Later his friend told him maybe they were at the library. Daniel went to the library. He found the books there. He left them there before he went to eat. Daniel was so relieved. The library had a summer reading program. It was to help promote reading in the summer. A lot of kids did not want to read after school. This fun program helped them read. There were 2 programs. One for kids and one for teenagers. Every 5 books they read would get them a prize. There were different prizes every time. There was also a raffle. Each book they read gave them 1 ticket. The more books they read, the better chance they had. The prize was a music player. Over 500 kids and teenagers participated. The reading program was a success. Tiffany loved working with kids. She wanted to be a kindergarten teacher when she grew up. She decided to volunteer now to prepare her. She volunteered as a tutor. She would teach young children. She focused on English. She taught kids how to read and write. Volunteering allowed her to work with kids. She loved talking to them. She hoped that she would inspire them. The kids she taught were of all ages. She especially liked working with young kids. This week she was teaching them about essays. She taught them the format. She had each of the kids write 1 essay about their life. She felt prepared for her future career. Gloria is 12 years old. She is now the only child in the family. She is going to have a little brother soon. She has mixed feelings. A part of her wants a baby brother. She will have someone to play with. She can teach him what she knows. She can be less lonely. Another part of her does not want a baby brother. She wants all the attention from her parents. She does not want to share her things. She does not want her parents to like her baby brother more than her. She does not want to hear him cry. She does not want to change his diaper. Carol came back home from school. When she went inside her house, she saw a trail of ants. The trail was so long. There must have been over 1,000 ants. She was scared. She slowly walked around it. Where did it all start? What are they after? She followed the trail. She ended up in her bedroom. What would they want in there? She looked at her bed. There were cracker crumbs. She never ate in her bed though. She looked at the package. It was her brother's crackers. She ran to her brother's room. Did you see what you did? Carol asked. Her brother shook his head. Carol showed him the entrail and told him to clean it up. Victoria and Linda are sisters. Their parents make them wash dishes. They take turns. Victoria washes the dishes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Linda washes the dishes on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. On Sunday, they flip a coin. Today it was Victoria's turn to wash dishes. Linda took advantage of this. She used 3 dishes at dinner. She had 1 dish for rice, 1 dish for meat, and another dish for dessert. Why do you have to make me wash more? Victoria yelled. It's fair, Linda said. Victoria never did that to Linda. She planned to make Linda wash more dishes tomorrow. Sally does not want to get a job. She is too lazy. Also, she does not like following orders. She wants to be her own boss. Sally wants to make some easy cash. She has an idea. She buys 30 packs of chips for $15. She then sells them to her schoolmates for a more expensive price. She sells the chips for $1 per bag. The bad thing is that Sally is not allowed to do this. It is against the school policy. She must be secretive about it. She sells during lunch period. People come to her. They sit at her table and pretend they are talking to her. Oscar loves his shoes. He has had them for 5 years. They still fit. They look very old. They have holes in them. There are scratches on them, too. The bottom of the shoes are even worse. Oscar, you need to get new shoes, his mom said. No. I love my shoes, he said. You will get hurt if you keep wearing them, his mom said. Oscar still said no. His mom decided to surprise him. She bought him a pair of Nikes. Oscar loved them. He felt bad that he wasn't going to wear his old shoes anymore. He decided to keep them. He put his shoes in a glass case. The birds chirp. The alarm clock rings. She wakes up. She stretches her arms out. She yawns. She gives herself 2 hours to get ready. She has a very important day at school. She washes her face. She brushes her teeth. She goes outside. She takes a breath of fresh air. She jogs for 20 minutes. She goes back in the house. She makes scrambled eggs and sausage. It is delicious. Her little brother asks for some. She gives what was left over to him. She goes back to her room. She opens up her history textbook. She has a quiz today. She quickly goes over the important details. She goes to class. Belinda and Casey are friends. Belinda and Sandy are enemies. They all go to the same school. They are all 10th graders. Belinda talks to Casey about Sandy a lot. She always says a lot of bad things. One day, Casey and Sandy bump into each other. They both fall down. They both drop all of their belongings on the floor. Casey spilled coffee on her shirt. Oh man. This shirt is new, she said. Sandy apologized. She offered to buy her the same shirt. Casey said it was okay. Sandy smiled. She introduced herself. Casey walked away. Belinda wouldn't want them to talk. Lily was playing a computer game. Random people online are grouped in 5s. They all play against each other. You can also talk to the other players. Lily noticed that someone had sent her a message. She clicked on the inbox. It was from someone she did not know. The person said hi. It was a guy. She was deciding whether or not to reply. Her mom always said not to talk to strangers. But her dad said every friend was once a stranger. She said hi. The guy asked where she was from. She told him she was from Los Angeles. He was from there, too. They turned out to be from the same math class. Sandy and I were opposites. Sandy was pretty. I was ugly. Sandy was dumb. I was smart. Sandy's parents were divorced. My parents have been married for 30 years. Sandy was athletic. I was clumsy. Sandy was shy. I was loud. Sandy was liked by everyone. Some people hated me. Sandy was funny. Everyone laughed at her jokes. I couldn't even tell a joke. Sandy was clean. I was dirty. We were very different, obviously. But we were still friends. We have been best friends since 1st grade. We will go to the same college. We won't be roommates though. I guess what they say is true. Opposites really do attract. Deborah did a lot of push-ups yesterday. She usually never did any at all. When she woke up the next day, her arms were sore. She was confused at first. She did not hit herself. She wondered why her arms felt so weak. It hurt to move them. It really hurt when people touched her arm. Even a small poke would hurt her. She asked her dad to take her to the doctor. Her dad asked her if she exercised. She told him about the push-ups. Now I see. After you exercise a lot, you get sore the next day, her dad said. What can I do in order not to get sore? Deborah asked. Stretch. Her dad said. Andrew was 12 years old. A lot of 12-year-old boys get pimples. Andrew saw a pimple on his forehead in the morning. He had never gotten one before. He screamed. He did not know what it was. Mom. There's an alien on my face. Andrew yelled. His mom put her hand under his chin. She looked at his forehead and laughed. It's not funny. Andrew said. Honey, it's just a pimple. Everyone gets one from time to time, his mom said. Andrew felt a little better when she said that. His mom gave him some pimple cream. Andrew hoped it would go away soon. Michael wanted to learn something new. He wanted to do something adventurous. He decided to learn how to ride a motorcycle. His parents said no. They said it was too dangerous. He decided to learn how to ride a skateboard instead. His parents agreed to this. It was much safer than learning how to ride a motorcycle. Michael called his friends. His friends knew how to ride a skateboard. They let him borrow their skateboard. Michael tried it slowly. He held the fence. He slowly balanced himself. This was not so hard. He then fell. He laughed it off. He needed more practice. Daniel had to do a project for school. He had to compare two variables. He chose to do soda and water. He wanted to find out if water or soda was better for plants. In order to do this, he had to water the plants every hour. He recorded the height of the plants. At the end of 2 weeks, he would compare the heights of the plants. He concluded that water was better for plants. He had to make a report for his findings. He printed out a chart and pictures of his project. He was fascinated with his discovery. He initially thought soda would be better since it had sugar in it. Michelle was starting high school. It was her first day of school. She was so nervous. She knew it was going to be different from middle school. All her friends were going to different high schools. She missed them a lot. She hoped she would be able to make new friends. She was also scared she would get lost. On her first day she got her schedule. She had math, English, biology, Spanish, and physical education. Her first class was math. She went in. She was nervous. The teacher had everyone introduce themselves. Michelle heard a lot of interesting people introduce themselves. She knew this was going to be a good year. Bill was playing catch with his friends inside his house. His parents were not home. They were playing with a baseball. They played for a little bit until Bill missed the ball. The ball hit a crystal vase and broke it. It was a gift his parents got for their wedding. It was very special to his mom. Bill knew he got in big trouble. His friends tried to help him. They tried to glue it back together. It didn't work. They searched the internet to see if they could find another one and replace it. Bill decided that the only thing he could do was to tell his parents. His parents came home. Bill told them. His mother was furious. She told him not to play with the ball inside the house. Dorothy was watching a tennis game. It was at her school. Her school was competing against another local school. Her sister was on the tennis team. Dorothy loved watching her sister. It was intense to watch tennis. She especially liked the intense serves. Her sister was really good at serving. Her sister won all 3 of her matches. Her school won the tennis game. They won by a lot. Dorothy had fun watching and cheering on her sister. She also cheered on her friends who were also on the team. Dorothy congratulated her sister. All the kids hated school lunch. It was disgusting. Sometimes they had mystery meat. Today in particular they had hot dogs. The hot dog has a strange color. The bun was also hard and stale. The lunch was free. Most kids did not complain. It was not healthy though. The students decided to form a petition. They wanted healthier and fresher food. They gathered a lot of signatures. The school decided to listen to them. They added new items to their menu. They had salad and also yogurt. They took out the hot dogs and hamburgers. The kids rejoiced. The food was finally edible. Michelle just discovered online shopping. She loved how convenient it was. She never had to leave her computer. She never had to get up. All she had to do was type and click. Technology is great. She decided to buy a textbook for school. Then, she looked for a cell phone case. She bought one with a striped design. She then went on a clothing website. She bought $100 worth of clothes. Her sister entered her room. She noticed how much Michelle was buying. Her sister pulled her out of the room. Michelle was banned from online shopping. Ken had no school today. Ken had no chores to do today. Ken was not working today. He was all alone at home. He had the day off. He was usually busy every day. He watched TV for 2 hours. He got bored. He played video games. He got bored. He went to a cafe. He ordered coffee and bread. He ate it. He got bored. He jogged in the park. He got bored. He called his friends. They were busy. He suddenly wished he was busy. He called his workplace. He asked his boss if he could come in. His boss laughed. Ken hung up. What a boring day. At North High School, students had to wear a uniform. Picture day was special though. On picture day, students could wear whatever they want. Girls took this chance to wear dresses. Boys took this chance to wear casual clothes. Jimmy wanted everyone to notice him. He wore a shirt with a curse word on it. He walked proudly in the hallways. People noticed him. His plan definitely worked. A teacher saw him. He was in trouble. He ran away. He ran inside the girls' bathroom. No one would find him in there. Amy needed to stay awake for 24 hours. It was easy at first. She did what she usually does. She went to school. She went to piano practice. She did her homework. She did her chores. She spent time with friends. It started getting hard at midnight. Her parents were sleeping. Her friends were sleeping, too. She didn't know what to do. She turned on the TV. There was nothing interesting. She read more of her textbook. That was making her more sleepy. Amy was getting desperate. She went to the kitchen. She made herself coffee. She drank 3 cups. She was now wide awake. Joanne had a blue backpack. She had it for a month. It was not that nice. It was popular last year. This year backpacks were out. All the popular girls had bags. The rich girls had designer bags. Only guys had backpacks now. Joanne still had a backpack though. A mean girl made fun of her. Joanne turned red. She felt so bad. She threw away her backpack at home. Her mum saw it in the trash can. She asked Joanne what was wrong. Joanne explained what had happened. You shouldn't throw it away. Be unique, her mom said. Joanne thought her mom was right. She got back the backpack. Mr. Ramirez wanted his students to feel comfortable in class. That was his #1 goal. He felt like he was doing a good job. There was one quiet student. He had no friends. He did not do class presentations. He never raised his hand. His name was Brandon. Everyone called him QB. It stands for quiet boy. Mr. Ramirez just wanted to see him smile. He tried telling him a joke. QB did not laugh. He just continued reading his book. Mr. Ramirez tried telling a funny story. QB did not laugh. Mr. Ramirez showed his pretty paintings. QB smiled. Mr. Ramirez was happy. He found out that QB had artistic talents. Madison recently got her driving license. She is happy. She has a lot of freedom now. She can go anywhere. She doesn't have to walk to school anymore. She can drive to her friend's house. Madison has a younger sister named Lisa. Lisa is 14 and has school at 8 o'clock in the morning. Madison's parents asked her to drive Lisa to school every morning. Why do I have to wake up? Madison asked. Having a license means having more responsibilities, her mom replied. Her parents also asked her to pick up groceries. Madison did not like having a license anymore. James woke up. He had to get ready for school. He looked in the mirror. There was a big, red bump on his forehead. It was a pimple. He was worried. He wanted it to be gone. He washed his face. The pimple was still there. He popped the pimple with his fingers. It was still there. It looked even worse. It was very red. He tried covering it. He asked his sister for makeup. She laughed at him. Forget it, he thought. Later, he went on his computer. He looked up ways to get rid of it. There was no instant way. He just had to be patient. Anna was mad. Kate cheated off her. Kate didn't know anything on the math test. She had copied Anna's answers exactly. The teacher found out. She was mad at both of them. Anne explained that she did not know Kate cheated. Kate said they both planned it. Kate was lying. The teacher punished both of them. They both received an F on the test. Anna hated Kate. They had some friends in common. Anna told those friends about Kate. They all agreed to leave her. At lunchtime, Kate sat alone. Collar was getting ready for school. She grabbed a pink sock. She tried to find the other one. It should be easy to find. Pink stands out, especially amongst white socks. She could not find it though. She checked under her bed. She checked in the washing machine. She checked in the dryer. She checked in the dirty clothes basket. She could not find it anywhere. She asked her mom if she saw her pink sock. Just wear a white sock and long jeans, her mom said. That was a good idea. It did not matter if her socks matched if no one could see her socks. She took out a white sock. She wore it on her left foot. She was ready for school. Tracy uses her phone a lot. She uses it whenever she is bored. She gets bored easily. She uses her phone at school. She uses it while she is eating. She even uses it when talking to people. One day, she pressed the power button. The screen was still black. The phone was out of battery. She needed to do a phone interview. This was bad. She had no time to get her charger at home. She went to an electronics store nearby. She bought a charger. She found the closest outlet. She plugged the charger in. She plugged her phone in. The phone screen lit up. Eric likes reading novels. Eric likes reading magazines. Eric even likes reading newspapers. But he hates reading poetry. Poetry is confusing. Poetry is not clear. Eric does not like figuring things out for himself. Poetry can be hard to read. Eric does not like reading Shakespeare's poetry. He cannot understand it. He is okay with easy poetry. Eric is okay with Drive. Seuss poems. They are easy to understand. Eric has to write his own poem for English class. He tries to do a rhyming poem. It was okay at first. But then it got hard. He did not know what rhymes with orange. He started over. Christina and her son liked to cloud watch. They went outside. They put down a towel. They lay down on it. They looked up at the sky. Christina pointed at a cloud. What do you think that one looks like? She asked. Her son looked at the cloud. It looks like a man chasing a deer, he said. She was surprised. I think it looks like a girl crying, she said. Her son laughed at her. What do you think that one looks like? He asked. That one just looks like a regular cloud, she said. I think it looks like you, her son said. She shook her head and laughed. Marina likes clothes. She likes being unique, too. A lot of girls in her school shop at the same stores. Marina would hate to have the same outfit as another girl's. That is why she shops at thrift shops. A thrift shop sells things that people donate. There are usually clothes that have been worn before. Sometimes there are stains and hole on the clothes. They are very cheap. Marina enjoys looking through clothing racks. She usually finds at least one thing she likes. She finds a dress. It is black. It is long. It would be good to wear to a fancy dinner. Vanessa and Emily are both running for president of a high school. Only one can win. Vanessa and Emily want to do different things. Vanessa wants to make the school more spirited. She plans to offer more student events. One of her ideas include a free football game. Emily wants to make the school's test scores go up. One of her ideas include free tutoring. Students think Vanessa should be president because they want to have more fun. The teachers and staff think Emily should be president because they want to make students study harder. Science fair was coming up. Julio had to come up with a project. He was working by himself this year. He wanted the challenge of doing it all by himself. While searching the web, he came across the idea of building a volcano. He decided that a volcano would be the way to win the science fair. He asked his parents to take him to the grocery store to buy supplies to make the volcano. After working several hours on the volcano, he decided to test it out. He turned it on and watched the lava spew out. It was amazing. He was so proud of himself. The next day he took his project to school for the science fair. Today was the day for the food drive. They were collecting food cans at school. All new and unexpired cans were accepted. The cans would be delivered to the homeless. The more cans they collected, the better. Sarah brought 10 cans. Tom brought 5 cans. Sam brought 13 cans. Everyone else also brought cans. In total the school collected 500 cans. The food drive was a success. Everyone was happy to help out. Everyone helped load the cans into the truck. They also delivered the cans. The food drive was so successful that they decided to do one every month. Every week, there was a field trip for Kennedy Middle School. This week the field trip was the circus. All the kids gathered at school in the morning. They were talking and running about. Everyone was super excited. They got on the bus and drove to the circus. At the circus they all sat together. There were popcorn and lemonade sold. When the show began, all the kids watched intensely. There was loud music. There were performers and dancers. When the animals came out, everyone stood up. There were lions, elephants, and tigers. All the kids loved the show. This was one of their favorite field trips. Hayden's neighbor moved out a month ago. Hayden was happy. She hated her old neighbor, who played music loudly. Because of that, Hayden could not focus on her homework. A new neighbor moved in yesterday. Hayden wanted to say hello. Hayden knocked on her neighbor's door. A girl of her age opened the door. "Hi, how can I help you?" she asked. "I just wanted to say hi. I'm your neighbor," Hayden said. "Oh, cool. I'm Betty. Do you go to George Kramer High School?" Hayden asked. "Yes," Betty said. Hayden was happy. They could study together. Kyla loves her little sister. Her name is Brenda. She is very annoying though. Brenda talks way too much. She talks very loudly, too. Kyla had an idea. "Let's play the quiet game." "I bet you can't win," Kyla said. "I totally can," Brenda said. Brenda was surprisingly good at the game. She did not talk for an entire day. Kyla was happy. However, Brenda continued playing the next day. Kyla missed hearing her sister's voice. Brenda even played the quiet game at school. Her teachers were mad that Brenda was not participating in class. "You win, Brenda," Kyla said. Sarah learned about plants in science class. She learned that plants help people. She learned that every year people destroy rainforests. This includes trees. She learned that without trees there would be no oxygen for us to breathe. She decided to organize a club at her school. It was called Project Green. They would work on planting trees. Although it would not solve all the problems, planting trees was a good way to help the environment. It was also fun to meet with other people. They gathered on Saturday. Each person was in charge of a different job. There was only 20 people in the group before. After the school heard about what they did, their club grew. The following week there were 100 members. In order to raise money for a field trip, the school was having a chocolate sale. They had all the kids sell chocolate to raise money. If they did not sell chocolate, they would have to pay for the field trip themselves or not go. They had various types of chocolates. There were caramel, milk chocolate, dark, and waffle. Each chocolate cost $1. There were also prizes for the kids who sold the most chocolate. The top seller would win a bike. All the kids were excited to sell chocolate. The most chocolate sold last year was 30 boxes. Everyone hoped to beat the record this year. It was that time of the year. The time of the year for Girl Scout cookies. Everyone loved Girl Scout cookies. They were delicious, and they also went to a good cause. All the Girl Scouts had to sell cookies. The girl who sold the most cookies usually got a prize. There were several different types of cookies. They were all the same price. Different people had different tastes. They had cookies for everyone. A lot of Girl Scout cookies were sold at school. Some sold in front of markets. Others sold in malls. Some even went door to door to sell cookies. Although it was fun to sell cookies, it was also a lot of work. Sarah was going to be a camp counselor this year. She loved working with kids. This year, however, the camp was having middle schoolers. She was nervous. She had never worked with middle school kids. She did not want them to hate her. She met them the next day. They were not as she expected at all. She expected them to be mean. She thought they would hate her. They were all really nice. They were all just excited to be at the camp. By the end of the camp, she thought of them as friends. They all looked up to her. She was sad to leave. Harrison needs a new phone. He has never had a phone for more than a year. Bad things always happen. Harrison has lost his phone before. He left it at school. He tried to go back and get it, but it was gone. Harrison has had his phone stolen before. He had it in his pocket. It was gone. He saw the person taking it, but the person ran away quickly. Harrison has dropped his phone in the toilet before. He was texting someone, and the phone slipped out. His parents do not want to buy him another phone. They know that it will get messed up somehow. Most students have to take a final exam. It is the most important exam. It makes up most of your grade. It can raise your grade a lot or drop it. It is usually long. It is usually cumulative, which means that it includes information from the beginning of the class. This means you have to remember everything. You should study a lot for it. The test might be multiple choice. The test might be an essay. The test might be fill in the blank. Remember to get good rest. Also, eat a healthy breakfast. Nothing with too much sugar. Eat something like a fruit salad. Don't eat pancakes with syrup. Good luck. Shirley went to the mall with her friends. They walk in. There are so many stores. They first go to a candle shop. The shop is having a huge sale. Shirley picks up a green candle and smells it. It smells like a pine cone forest. It reminds her of her grandfather. He passed away 2 years ago. She feels that she should visit him. She decides to buy the candle. Shirley drops her friends off at their houses. She drives to the cemetery. She puts the candle on her grandfather's tombstone. She smiles. He would like the candle. She drives back home. Thomas wanted the new Green Day album. He didn't have a lot of money though. He lost his job. He had to pay for college, too. He decided to download it. He searched for it on the internet. He clicked a link. It was a website filled with a lot of music. He first downloaded the Green Day album. He was amazed with how easy it was. He downloaded more albums. He downloaded a One Direction album and sent it to his sister. His sister loves One Direction. His sister wasn't happy though. His sister was mad that he illegally downloaded music. She told him to buy the albums. The Smiths take turns washing dishes. Mom washes dishes on Monday. Dad washes dishes on Tuesday. Samantha washes dishes on Wednesday. Then the cycle starts all over again. Today is Wednesday, so it is Samantha's turn. Samantha takes the dirty dishes from the dining table. She puts them in the sink. She squeezes a drop of soap on the sponge. She washes the dishes with the sponge. She sings to herself to make the job easier. She rinses the dishes off with water. She dries them with a towel. She puts them back in the dish holder. She wants to buy a dishwasher. Gabby turned on the weather channel. It was going to be 45 degrees Fahrenheit. What a cold day for California. Gabby had to prepare. She found a jacket with fur. She hasn't worn it since December. She put her gloves on her hands. Her grandmother knitted them for her. She put on 2 layers of pants. She wrapped a scarf around her neck. Her grandmother knitted that for her, too. She put a hat on her head. She put on her fuzzy socks. She put on her boots. She was ready to go. She stepped outside. She saw people wearing shorts and tank tops. The speed limit around residential areas is usually 25 miles per hour. People usually go above this, except Sora. Sora was driving to work. She turned on the radio. Her favorite song came on. She started nodding her head. Then, she heard a honk. It came from behind. A driver wanted to pass her. She was driving at 25 miles per hour. He shouldn't be honking. She was following the rules. She started driving slower. He was getting mad. He kept honking. She drove even slower. She was now driving 10 miles per hour. He switched to the right lane. Then, he drove passing her. Abby was going on a trip to Las Vegas. She was going to stay there for 3 nights. She had to pack carefully. She first needed a suitcase. All of hers were broken. She borrowed one from her friend. She put in what was really important first. She put in her toothpaste, toothbrush, and wallet inside. She put in thin shirts and shorts. It was going to be hot in Las Vegas. Since it was hot, she brought sunscreen. Abby's skin gets red easily. Her skin also dries up fast. She put lotion in her luggage. She only got through 1/4 of her packing list. This was going to take a while. Danny bought new shoes online. He couldn't wait to get them. He stared at the window. He saw the mailman with a white box. That must be it. He went outside. He grabbed the box from the mailman. Thanks, Danny yelled. Danny opened the box quickly. The shoes looked great. It looked exactly how he expected. He tried them on. They were too tight. He needed to exchange them. He needed to get a size 12. He called the company. They were busy. He was on the line for a long time. After 40 minutes, it was his turn. Hi, I need to exchange my shoes, Danny said. Sorry, all our shoes are final sale, said the sales associate. Danny was surprised. He looked at the fine print on the shoe box. All sales are final. Abby's mom gave her a credit card. The credit card is supposed to be for emergencies. Abby went to the mall with her friends. She saw a pretty purse. It was black and shiny. She had to have it. She went inside the store. She looked at the price tag. The purse was $600. She really wanted it. She looked at her credit card. She went up to the cashier. She handed the worker her credit card. He swiped it. She didn't realize that she had to pay for the purse later. The purse showed up on the bill a month later. It was Mother's Day. Brenda wants to get a gift for her mom. But Brenda is poor. Brenda does not have a job. She decides to make a gift. She decides to get flowers from her backyard. She goes to her backyard. She sees bushes and trees. She doesn't see any flowers. She goes to her neighbor's house. She asks to see their garden. They let her in. Their garden is beautiful. There are many flowers. There are big flowers. There are small flowers. There are roses. There are tulips. She has a lot to choose from. She gets a little bit of everything. She thanks her neighbor. Tammy is graduating. She is one of 600 seniors. After this, she will be going to college. She looks up at the audience. She sees her parents. She is happy that they are there. She looks to the left of her. Her best friend is sitting there. They have been friends all throughout high school. Her best friend is going to the same college. Tammy looks to the right of her. It is her boyfriend. They will be going to the same college. Tammy looks back at all the memories. There are some good and bad memories. It is all going to be over. She is going to begin a new life. Joe's was a senior. It was time to apply for college. This was a stressful time. He had to fill out applications. He had to write essays. He also had to make sure he turned them in on time. Joe's had to look up colleges. He needed to find out which ones he wanted to apply to. He needed to know which ones were within his reach. He decided to apply to 5 different colleges. He looked up the application. He researched each school carefully. He was a little scared. He was also excited. He was ready to move on from high school. College applications would be challenging. Sarah was going to college next month. She had to live in a dorm. She needed to buy a lot of stuff. Today she decided to go dorm shopping. She went with her parents and her brother. She made a checklist of everything she needed. The first thing she needed was bed sheets. She needed to buy bed sheets that would fit her bed. She found nice floral ones. She then bought a lamp and a mirror. She slowly got everything. She started checking off the stuff she had. She was ready for college. She put all her stuff into her suitcase.